Happy Friday to everybody. So glad that you guys can join us today. We are live. Okay, so if you're watching a recording of this, just know we're giving people time to come on. Okay, so we're going to give them about a minute and some change, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're just waiting for some people to get on, and then we're going to go ahead and jump on in. All right. All right, we're going to give it about another minute, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to everybody that's joining us. Give a shout out in the chat if you like. Let me know if my audio's okay, or not. If it's bad, let me know. If it's good, let me know that too. All right, big shout out to Consuelo, Willie in the house too, and then everybody else that's coming along. We'll give you a shout out too. If I see you out of the corner of my eye, Willie in the house, and my audio's good. Okay, good to see you guys. So thank you again for joining us for this broadcast Friday night. It is October the 18th, 2024. We got Deborah in the house as well. All right, and many, many more people I'm sure will be joining us a little bit later, but we're going to jump right in and get into it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, so for this broadcast, we're going to be touching on two main stories. Number one, we're going to continue our coverage on the what's going on down in Conyers, Georgia. All right, and in Rockdale County, and man, what's been unfolding there. It's like, I mean, how many times do we have to see this movie play out? I mean, literally, how many times we have to see this play out? And unfortunately, it's playing out just like, we were suspecting it was going to play out. Local politicians, it just think of any movie that you've seen where, local politicians are looking kind of shady and, people being, hush hush and all of this other stuff. We're going to share with you some of the latest information that we were able to get from down there. They're going to be having the locals are going to be having a big meeting tomorrow. And I had someone actually leave me a comment as well that kind of confirmed what I was saying before, that, if you are someone that's down there, you don't jump on, you got to wait. Take your time before you sign up for anything. Okay. Be very cautious. Be very wary and careful, because anytime stuff like this breaks out, when you have companies that have these spills and all of this stuff in local communities, they have people on both sides of the equation so that the narrative can be controlled and they can come out with as minimum damage as possible. I don't know how many times I need to say this, and but we're going to keep on saying it, and hopefully people will get it. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to get in, and I'm going to have the missus coming in, and she's going to share with you about this 11 herbal tea that we developed, that we kind of put together to address, people who have, if you've been exposed, if you're one of those people who've been exposed to those toxic chemicals. Well, again, there are herbs that are very good for that, and that will try to help flesh out your lungs. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'll just say this right off the rip. I've actually, because I told Nicole, I said, "Hun, let me try. I really want to try it, because I want to, before I get on camera, I want to know what it tastes like and all of that. And I'll share that later. I mean, it's a very good taste, but ever since I drank it, it took about half an hour. I'm getting all kind of mucus coming up. So this thing really works. and that's exactly what you want. So we'll talk about that as well, and then our feature story, our big other feature story, we're going to talk about something that I came across regarding Vice President Kamala Harris's father, and boy, oh boy, and I'm starting to understand why they kept this man, or continue to keep this man, kind of in the back room somewhere. Isn't it kind of odd that you got somebody who's running for president of the United States and the father is alive? But you remember during the DNC, she had all these Indian people and all that up there, but her dad, who literally lives in that area, he wasn't there. And for people to kind of just brush that off as just, that's just something, whatever. I mean, it just shows you just how gullible people are. But what we're going to talk about is something where it was a study, or it was a report that he actually did, that if you are a Black American, I think you're going to kind of like what he was saying. And it so coincides with what's been going on as of late. And so, the issues that are very important to Black Americans, and you definitely going to really have appreciation, I will say that, to what he had to say. And it makes a lot of sense as to why they're keeping him in the closet. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, I ain't going to pressure you, but I'm telling you, you're missing some good stuff if you don't. Okay. But you may want to consider that, but take some time and look around and check out, what you see on the site or whatever. And then you decide for yourself at the end of the day. Okay. It's crazy time this week. Crazy time. I get on Twitter. You can see which side is clearly losing because they are panicking. There is one side that's clearly doing a whole lot of panicking. I hear Joy Reid. She's out here now talking about fascism. Now she's throwing that around. And so, yeah, it's really something. But anyway, let's go ahead and get right into the story here. Now, recently, just this week, the Rockdale chairman, let me get his whole name here. Let's see here. Rockdale. I just had that. I know his first name is Oz. Rockdale County. Okay. All right. Let's see. Chairman. Here we go. Chairman is Oz Nesbitt. Oz Nesbitt Sr. Well, Rockdale County, they did a press conference on the 17th. So this was yesterday. Fortunately, they put this on YouTube. I need to go ahead and download it before they take it down. And I'm going to play probably the first 9 or so minutes of it. I may skip a little bit, but I'm going to play some of it here for you. Okay. So I need you to stick around because there's going to be some things I want you to point out. I want you to notice, but especially at the end part of this clip, I want you to listen to what he had to say. Okay. So let me go ahead and get this on the screen here, and so that you can go ahead and take a listen and watch, and let's go ahead and go to it. Okay. All right, let's go. I'm gonna go back to the beginning here, and let's go ahead and play this.
Nesbitt, the chairman and CEO of Rockdale County. This is the day that we've
hold on.
Director Webb. Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Sharon Webb, Director of EMA for Rockdale County. Today, I'm here, as Dr. Milne stated, with Fire Rescue, EPA, EPD, Rockdale County, and Gwinnett Newton Rockdale Public Health. Today is day 19 of the incident that occurred September 29th at Biolab, located at 1603 Old Covington Highway. For the past 19 days, crews have worked day and night to mitigate the situation at the incident site. This morning, after a thorough discussion, review, and walkthrough of the site, it was conducted by the incident commander, EPA, EPD, and Biolab, It was decided that in their conclusion that the shelter in place for all of Rockdale County will be elected effective immediately October 17th, 2024. At this time, I would like to call up Chief McDaniel with Rockdale County Fire Rescue to give an update on fire rescue operations on the site.
Okay, so you just heard her. She said as of to yesterday that they were lifting the shelter in place. That's what she said, okay? Just want to highlight that. Let's go.
Well, good afternoon once again. Marion McDaniel, Fire Chief, Rockdale County Fire Rescue. Before we get into the update, I want to take a moment to extend a heartfelt thank you to all of the surrounding fire departments that assisted us during this time. Atlanta Fire Rescue, Clayton County Fire, Newton County, Covington, DeKalb County, Henry County, City of Forest Park, Union City, Social Circle, and Walton County. Thank you once again for assisting us during this time. Once again, as we're in the 19th day of this Biolab incident, our mitigation plans and efforts have proven successful. Trichlor was the main chemical involved in the incident. And it's the product located on the shelves. There's another product, which is cyanuric acid. It is non-chlorine. We did locate that in there. That was not part of this incident. The trichlor was the main ingredient. About 4 million pounds of that. 787 gallons of water have been used to neutralize this product and been...
So they put water on it. So she's acknowledging that a chemical fire, they use water. Now, she's the fire chief. This woman is the fire chief. And she's acknowledging that her department threw water on a chemical fire. So I'm just pausing here because I want you to take note of how they're just glossing over stuff. Okay, let me just catch people up for those that maybe you're not aware. Maybe this is your first time hearing this. As you know, again, this fire that took place down in Conyers, Georgia, which is in Rockdale County, which is part of Atlanta Metro. We're going to get back to the video in a moment, but I don't want to assume that everybody knows what's going on, what's been going on, okay? So I want to assume, so I'm just going to kind of catch some people up, for those that don't know. So basically, they had this fire. This is not the first time that Biolabs have had this fire. They had a fire. They've had fire going years back, and they keep on doing this. And it's crazy. And so so this last time they had it, I think his name is Kevin Johnson, if not mistaken. Now, he is one that was responsible for checking these companies out that's in Rockdale County. And he's had his thumb on Biolabs for a minute. This is a black guy. And he's been warning them and telling them, hey, listen, something needs to be done about this company. It's not just that company. It was another one, too, because how they were storing things and if a fire breaks out and all this other stuff. And then long story short, fire breaks out. So he goes they have a hearing at the state capitol. He gives his account to let people know, hey, listen, I've been telling y'all this was going to happen, so forth and so on. And as he's giving his account, you can see that this man is out of breath. He steps out same day. He steps out after he's finished giving his account. The man dies. Just like that. So we're supposed to sit and just brush all of that over and act like that's just like nothing. Okay. And so in the meantime, they've had this huge plume of this chemical mixture, because if you hear what she's saying, she's mentioning the chlorine and a couple of other things, but you also have to take into account the building material. You have to take into account some of the other things that were there, styrofoams and all this other stuff that was there. You got to take in all of that you got to take into account. That's all in the mixture. That was all in that mixture when that plume is up there, right? And so it's just been hovering. I'm still hearing from some people down there that are saying they can still smell this thing. Keep in mind, this fire took place at the last week of September. We're past halfway through October, and you still got people who smell this thing. This is how crazy this is. Did someone say Kenny Johnson? Thank you. I think I say Kevin, right? Kenny Johnson. And so you still got people who can smell this stuff. Okay. And so that's not good. There was one account I was watching one of the news clips. It was a black couple, and they mentioned how they grew their fruits and vegetables. They live in Rockdale County. They live in that area, and now what's up? Nothing they could do. I mean, it's done. I mean, you can't grow anything there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's no, you can't. I would recommend it. And so anyway, so they had someone, there's a gentleman that went down there. He's an EPA whistleblower. Okay. He was one that went up to East Palestine, Ohio, because when they had a similar spill, he was up there testing it. And so what his results were saying up there was, I think it was like 2 million pounds of this chemical was in the air. 2 million. All right. 2 million. That's what he measured when he was up there. And people are still getting sick and people are still dying. And you're talking about something that happened almost a year ago. And it's still, the fallout literally is still happening. Okay. So we're talking about a year ago. When this gentleman went to Conyers and he took his initial measurements, he's still waiting back for the full results, because according to him, he says it takes about, the lab that he uses, it takes about 4 weeks. So he said his initial results. Now remember, I said 2 million pounds of this chemical that they had in East Palestine. Now, if you remember our coverage, because we did several videos on that. We were tracking wind direction. We were talking about water. We were showing people, pointing out alternative places where people can get water, all of that stuff. We were tracking that. And we were warning people, listen, take that seriously. Again, that's when back then. You can go back. So remember, 2 million. Do you know how many pounds his initial test showed in this area here in Rockdale County? He said between 12 and 20 million. Between 12 and 20 million. And so on one hand, they're telling the residents, hey, we're lifting it up. Hey, everything's clearing out. Everything's fine. It's getting better and all this stuff. But they're also telling they're telling the people, hey, but you need to stay inside. What? And you're going to hear from one of the residents too. I got a video clip. And she's going to tell you even more about what they noticed. And people who had asthma, if you had asthma, I'm getting people from all over that are saying that their asthma all of a sudden is flaring up. It's flaring up. It's flaring up. And if you're immunocompromised, this is definitely something that's not good. Okay. So right now, so again, it's still stuff going on. And then I'm gonna go ahead and let me get back to the video, and I'm gonna show you some of the things that the company's been doing, and then we're gonna take it from there. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. Now this is the fire chief, I believe, that we were just listening to. Let's go back.
Taken off to the hazmat waste facility. There have been two primary companies working with the Rockdale County Fire Rescue. They're both based out of Texas, and they will continue to be on site once Rockdale County Fire Rescue pulls away from Biolab. OSHA will also be on site to continue to monitor to make sure all further operations are going as planned. But once again, everything is going well. All of the product has been removed, and that's where we are as of right now.
Good afternoon. My name is Alex Conti. I'm with Georgia EPD. So Unified Command is preparing and planning for an operational shift or transition from response actions to remediation actions. So these operations or these actions include ongoing, and they provide for continuity with ongoing site and community air monitoring, surface water monitoring, debris and waste management, and soil remediation. Each one of those actions or activities has its own separate plan. Those plans are currently under review and development to ensure compliance with state and federal regulations. And that's all I have at this time.
Hi, my name is Brian Vassar. I'm an on-scene coordinator with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, and my primary job out at this response has been doing air monitoring in the community. So EPA has been conducting air monitoring within the community since the fire began, since early Sunday morning. As operations have started to control the source and reduce the source that's giving off the chlorine, we've seen the plume reduce. That's been visible. And it's also been detected by our instrumentation that people have seen throughout the community. It's been a joint effort doing community monitoring with 2 different companies from Biolab as well as EPA personnel. You've probably seen people out driving around collecting air monitoring. You've probably noticed if you live further out that as the plume is reduced, we've moved more of our community efforts, our community air monitoring efforts in. Over the past 72 hours, we have not really had much of a visible plume, if any. And we've not had any exceedances of any of the action levels that were previously established with Rockdale County and with Public Health to protect the citizens. And so that was what Unified Command based their decision off of today, was that all the community air monitoring was pointing that the shelter in place could be lifted.
Okay, let me stop him here and let me mention this as well, because one of the things they want to get people to focus on is they want people to get focused on visible plume, okay? So let's cut the crap and let's get round to it. Just because you don't see it visually, all right, it doesn't mean that everything is blown away and everything is okay. Because if that's the case, then you wouldn't have people still getting sick. And like you got someone in here in the chat right now saying they just came from the doctor today. And I showed you some images in one of our earlier broadcasts when we were talking about this. You know, someone got up real close to one of the cars that was down there, and you can see these fragments, the tiny, like greenish blue fragments that are still very much coating things. You understand? That's why they're digging up soil and taking water samples and all that, because what goes up, you should have learned this in school, certainly comes down. So just because, so again, they're trying to get you to focus on, well, we don't see anything, then it must be safe. No. All of that stuff that was in the air, that means now it's moved into kind of a phase 2, where now it's in the soil, it's getting in the water, it's getting in all of that. One of the things I suggested, I said that you should not be drinking the local water under no circumstances. You should be getting your water tested, independent tested. You should be demanding the county of Rockdale to have testing done on your water every day, and those results need to be made public to everybody in that county and also the other counties that have been impacted as well. So the county needs to be doing that, and also the I'm talking about residents. You need to be getting your water tested independently as well. You need to do that. Okay, do not depend on these people, because it's bad enough drinking it, but it's just as bad if you're bathing in it and you're washing it and you're cooking in it. All right, so please take this extremely serious, what we're saying. Let me play it a little bit more.
That's all I have for now.
And sorry. I told you I'm gonna be cutting in here. I want you to listen to what she's saying, and I want you to take note of the gaslighting. All right, I want you to take note of this. Oh, shoot, hold on. Sorry, y'all. All right, here we go.
Good afternoon. I'm Lynn Paxton. I am the director of the Gwinnett, Newton, and Rockdale Health District. And Gwinnett, Newton, Rockdale has been working with the local authorities since the very beginning of this incident. And we currently receive many inquiries about the health effects and what to do. And so I want to just remind people that to remember that the effects of an exposure to any hazardous substance depend on what the dose was, the duration, and the method of exposure, and of course any personal factors to that person, such as underlying illness. As we've just heard from EPA, in the past 72 hours we have had no exceedances that have reached that level, which is wonderful. Most exposures in this incident resulted in only minor symptoms. However, for people who do have symptoms, generally after an acute exposure to chlorine-type gases such as this, any deficits in pulmonary...
All these people that have been posting and talking about they've been suffering from asthma. Listen, and a lot of these people saying they haven't had asthma attacks in years. And now all of a sudden they're getting asthma attacks. Their asthma is flaring up. No, boo. That ain't some minor thing. That's not minor. Okay, so again, they're trying to gaslight people. Oh, it was just a minor, it's just some minor stuff. That's it. Okay, let me let her talk.
Function generally return to baseline within about 1 to 2 weeks. However, people with underlying illnesses such as COPD, asthma, should always consult with their medical provider. So public health is working with the Poison Center, with local providers, and with hospitals to gather data. However, data collection is ongoing and it's not yet complete. And I have to remind people, we are at the beginning of cold and flu season. So, therefore, where you always get an increase in respiratory symptoms.
And someone in the comments, they caught that. You already caught that. Did you hear the gaslighting? Oh, well, I just want to remind you, too, that we're in the beginning of flu season. So, you're going to already start seeing some stuff. And you see the gaslighting? When you see that, when you start hearing that already, what I heard was money. That's what I heard in that. Nope. Don't. I've been back. I would say back all the way up. Back all the way up with that. Back all the way up with that. Anyway, let's continue.
So I'm just saying that it was going to take careful epidemiologic analysis to give a picture of effects due to exposures from this incident. So don't expect them today, but we are certainly working on that. So our advice really hasn't changed. For people who have any symptoms that they think might be related to this, they should contact their provider. If they have severe symptoms such as chest pain or problems breathing, they should seek emergency care. And they can always call the Poison Control Center, which has set up a special hotline for this, and the number for that is 404-856-6252. Thank you.
I'm Chairman Osmond.
All right, this is the one I want you to hear.
CEO of Rockdale County. This is the day that we've been waiting to get to. This is day 19, and we're at a point where I've been standing by for a call from our fire chief to give me the green light that all is clear, and we're ready to put Rockdale back to business. And when I say back to business, allowing our school system to come back into session, our local businesses to open back up. This has been a major impact on economic development. Rockdale County is resilient, and we're ready to get back to rocking and rolling. We want to say thank you to all of our public safety and health partners, because the first step in this process has been public safety, public safety, public safety. You've heard me say that multiple times. Our focus has been on keeping our community safe. So to the Sheriff's Office, the Rockdale County Sheriff's Office, the City of Conyers Police Department, the Rockdale County Fire and Rescue, our emergency management, and all of our state and federal partners, EPA, EPD, the Gwinnett Newton Rockdale Health Department, and all of those partners and entities who've been a part of making sure that we mitigate and navigate through this process. Our community has been held hostage for a number of days, a number of weeks. And we're ready to get back to some sense of normalcy. So as the chairman of Rockdale County, I'm certainly, on behalf of all of our citizens, residents, and business owners, we are glad to be at this point and to be able to turn this complete operation over to the hands of the corporate management and leadership of Biolab.
What? What? Did you hear what he just said? Let's go back. I want to make sure you heard you heard what I heard. All right, maybe I'm hearing it wrong. Let's go back.
Community has been held hostage for a number of days, a number of weeks, and we're ready to get back to some sense of normalcy. So as the chairman of Rockdale County, I'm certainly, on behalf of all of our citizens, residents, and business owners, we are glad to be at this point and to be able to turn this complete operation over to the hands of the corporate management and leadership of Biolab.
He said they're going to turn the handling of all of this to the company that committed the crime. I'm gonna let that simmer for a little bit. I'm gonna let that simmer for a little bit. I'm gonna let that simmer for a little bit. He just said that he is going to turn the handling of the rest of all of this stuff over to the company that committed the crime in the first place. That's what he said. Now, go back. Let me go back here. Hold on for a second here. Give me just a moment here. He just said that. He said that Kenny Johnson was trying to put notes on all of them. He was saying that this needs to go under investigation. There needs to be a whole real investigation on this thing. And this dude, who's the chairman of Rockdale County, is saying that, okay, well, I was so glad. I was just waiting for this day. We're going to turn this thing over back to the very people who committed this crime. Okay, well, you go ahead and everything's okay now. Okay, all right. So what I'm going to do now, I came across this video. This is a local resident, and I want you to hear what she has to say on this stuff here.
I'm gonna keep it a G as I.
Hold on for a second here. This is a local resident. Don't take my word for it. I want you to listen to what she has to say on it. All right, here we go.
It's a predominantly black, rural, poor area. They don't give a fuck. The Tuesday after the fire, when they first put the shelter-in-place order, I woke up to a dead body in my driveway Wednesday morning. It's one of the homeless gentlemen in the area. He had lung problems, and for them to say that it has no effects, it's not going to do nothing to you. The man had went to the heart doctor that morning and was told he was good. The next day, he was dead in my driveway. Firefighters are having to replace their trucks. They're having to replace their uniforms. The locks on the doors near the businesses, near Biolab, the businesses, they're melted. This has happened multiple times. For it to happen multiple times, you're giving everybody in this community your ass to kiss. Because why are you telling the businesses to evacuate? They can't open because it might have long-term health effects being exposed long, but you telling the black residents over here to shelter in place. Miss me with the bullshit. Yeah. I'm gonna keep it as G as I can. It's a predominant.
Like I said, don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. And unfortunately, what's been happening is, as we predicted, they were going to be moving very quickly. I'm talking about Biolab. They're going to move very quickly, and they're going to start trying to paper over this thing extremely quick. Now, they altered some things to be a little smart with this, but there's an article that I'm about to read to you, and I want you to hear the whole thing, especially the ending, okay? All right, this was on WSB TV. Now, just some background on me personally. You know, I have lived in the Atlanta area, Cobb County. I lived in Gwinnett County for numbers of years. I got married in the Atlanta area. I had both of my children in the Atlanta area. I worked in the Atlanta area, so I'm very familiar with the territory and where everything is and all of that stuff. So I'm very familiar with all of this, and that's one of the many reasons why I have taken great interest in this story. None of the least of my brother just posted on here, roughly 60% of the county is made up of black folks. Of course, we care about everybody and we don't want to see anybody get sick. But, it's black folks who have been exposed to this kind of wickedness in this country over and over and over and over and over again. And enough is enough. And for people to sit back and to try to make it seem like this ain't really nothing, I'm telling you right now, this is something. All right. This is something that we should be concerned about. And it's something that we have to be smart. We have to be wise. And I'm going to get into that part here in a moment, too. All right. I'm going to get into that part. OK, so let's get into this article here. As we predicted, this article came out October the 16th. That was 2 days ago. First payments go out to those impacted by the Biolabs fire as lawyers stress to be cautious. All right, let me get into the article. They said people lined up all day outside the newly opened Community Assistance Center in Conyers, and I showed you a picture of it. Biolab said that they set up the center to help the residents and businesses impacted by a fire at their plant on September 29th. Many residents spent hours waiting in line, but many who got appointments left with a check to compensate them for issues caused by the fire. I told you this was going to happen. Now, let me just add this and I'll get back to the article. Biolabs actually set up a website for people, who stayed out here all day to get their check and they weren't able to get in. They set up a website. I went to the website. The website wasn't even working. This is how much they think of you. But let's continue. All right. And it says, I see they are passing out checks. So hopefully they will be helping people who are in need critically. And this one person said, Channel 2 saw several residents unable to get meetings on Wednesday. Biolab says that the residents or business owners must first call and they give the phone number to establish their claim before showing up to the meeting because the center had filed all of their appointments filled. Donna Mercer says she spent 4 hours on the phone to establish her claim, but was able to get an appointment. Everybody was pleasant. I bet they were. Everybody was nice. Everybody was able to work with us, Mercer said. Mercer says she got roughly triple the amount she expected to be offered. Let me read that again. I hope you're paying attention to what I'm saying here, because this is leading up to something. That's why I said I need you to follow this thing all the way down to the last sentence in this article. All right? I'm trying to show you how these people are wicked. Mercer said she got roughly triple the amount she expected to be offered. So the question you should be asking is, what was she expecting in the first place? She may only have been expecting $100. We don't know because the article don't tell you that. See, they know exactly how to get to these people. Every resident that Channel 2 Michael Donda spoke with had a meeting on Wednesday, was offered at least $1,000. Let me tell you something, because I'm trying everything I can not to slam this microphone against the wall right now. There's literally taking everything in me right now from doing this. This is beyond $1,000. This is beyond $1,000. Let me say that again. This is beyond $1,000 freaking dollars. Okay, we way past that. The compensation varied greatly based on the cost each person incurred. I don't know for anyone else, but for myself and other people I talk to, They were more than happy. They know this. This is why they build these types of factories in lower income areas where a lot of black people are. This is why they do it. You're not going to see them building up in Gwinnett. You ain't going to see them up there, or Johns Creek. You ain't going to see anything up in Johns Creek, are you? Name me the chemical factory they got in Johns Creek. Or how about in Buckhead? They got one in Buckhead? They got one downtown Buckhead? Oh, no, they ain't going to put it down there. The compensation varied greatly based on cost each person incurred. I don't know for any. Oh, I already read that. However, attorneys representing people in one of the numerous class action lawsuits warned residents to be careful. And we want to make sure everyone understands those rights so that they don't sign them away, a lawyer said during the 6 p.m. virtual town hall focused on a filed class action lawsuit. Attorneys at the town hall said Biolab representatives had promised not to force anyone to waive their rights to sue, but advised clients to be careful with what they sign or any evidence they hand over. I want you to pay close attention to this again. All right. I'm trying, for those of you, I understand for some that have never gone through anything like this before. I know this is a lot of sudden stuff that's thrown in your face, but I am more than willing to go through this stuff again so that you understand. That's why I'm trying to speak as slow as possible. I'm not talking down on you. I want you to understand the game that they are literally playing. And I'm telling you, that's what they're doing. Okay. So let me read this again for you. They said, okay, let me go back. It says, and we want to make sure everyone understands the rights so they don't sign them away. A lawyer said during the 6 p.m. virtual town hall focus on a filed class action lawsuit. All right, I'll put a star by that. Attorneys at the town hall said Biolab representatives had promised not to force anyone to waive their rights to sue. All right, so that part I want to focus on. See, they already understand that people are aware that, you know, some of these people are going to come in and they're going to be too afraid to sign anything. So let's not get them to sign anything. Instead, let's give them triple of what they expect to get from us. All right. You see, do you follow me now? You see how this is being played? All right, let's continue. But advise clients to be careful with what they sign or any evidence they hand over. Channel 2 heard from multiple people who got checks that they were not asked to sign anything. So a lot of people see that and be like, oh, okay. Well, we're okay. They understand. We got an understanding. I don't sign anything. You give me my check for at least $1,000. We all straight, right? Everything's good. We ain't at that last sentence yet. Let me get to the last sentence. Lawyers for one of the class action lawsuits did say compensation taken today could be taken out of a future payout. Gotcha. There you go. So all of these checks that they are handing out to these people, it is going to be deducted from, when they say could be, I'm saying it will be. It's going to be deducted from what that community really owes. You see the game? It's really owed by Biolabs. Do you see the game? You see how this is playing out? Now, let me just say this here. Let me just say this here. Let me just say this. Now, I know we're in desperate times right now for many people. And I understand that this, if you're already struggling paying rent, if you're already struggling paying, just taking care of your basic needs. I know that something like this, you will see this as a blessing in disguise. And I'm going to tell you right now, please mark my word on this. you're going to start hearing preachers in that area starting to use that terminology, trying to make you think that God works in mysterious ways. If they start going down that line, they got their bag. Listen, I ain't serving no God that's going to spray you down with cancer causing elements and then going to say, well, I had to do it to give you a blessing. If that's the God you worship, then yeah, you are crazy. Okay. So no, don't miss me with all of that. Okay. But this is the point I want to make here to you today. You never take anything from the one that committed the crime. Let me say that again. You never take anything from the person or the persons that committed the crime. Okay? Should be just basic logic that people should understand. When I saw that video of people line up, standing there for hours to get their check from Biolab, if I had hair, I would have pulled it out. It took me too long to grow this beard, so I ain't gonna pull that out. But you understand what I'm saying? I just was like, wanted to scream. I said, my goodness, these people are going to the criminal to get a payout. Let me just lay it out like this for you. If someone came into your house uninvited, that means they broke in, which means they broke the law. And then let's say a week or so later, and they stole stuff, right? And then let's say a week later, they send you a text and say, hey, listen, let's work out something, okay? Let's go meet at the Starbucks up the street, and I'm going to try to compensate you, okay? I'm going to compensate you for the stuff I took. Now, the stuff they took are things that are very dear and precious to you. It's stuff that was passed down from your great-great-grandmother, all kinds of stuff that's really meaningful to you. You understand what I'm saying? And so they come and give you $100, maybe $200 or whatever, and you take it. And you walk away thinking that, wow, that was easy. Do you really think that the person who committed the crime is going to issue out fairness? See, for some people, you have to begin to see the value in yourself. That's why I said there's layers to all of this. And some people really need to hear this. See, what Biolabs is doing is that they are setting the value for your life. That's what they're doing right now. They are setting the value for your life. They came to your community. They poisoned the hell out of you. And now they believe that they can just simply hand out little checks, little trinkets, and then that's it. And then you got the commissioner up there like, oh, we're done. Everything's done here. We're going to turn the entire operation back over to them. So I was getting ready to say something. I'm glad I caught myself. But this person, for him to sit up there and to say that comfortably that he's okay with this company handling all the operations for cleanup and everything else for his community, his behind needs to be put in jail for saying that. That's crazy. What he should have been up there saying is, I just spoke to the people in D.C. and I demanded that they need to come down and they need to do a federal investigation down here. These people need this, they need that, they need this, they need that. This needs to be a federal thing right now. This company will not open up in this community ever again. We are done. We're not having this. They've done this too many times. This is the last straw, and everything needs to be shut down. That's what he should be saying. But right now, this Negro is up here telling people that he's turning all the operations over back to the very people that committed this crime in the first place. And Rockdale is back to rocking and rolling, according to him. And we're supposed to and people just supposed to sit up there and it's okay. We're okay. Everything's okay. Everything's good now. I'm trying to tell you, listen, just because you don't see any plume, the fallout of that plume, it comes down. That's why it's called fallout, okay? That's why it's called fallout. That's why they're running around testing soil and testing water and all that stuff. That stuff doesn't go away. It doesn't. It's very much still present wherever it went. I read one account, there's somebody all the way in Alabama said they could smell it. This is insane. This is insane. And this is wicked. And this stuff plays out over and over again in this country, around the world, where you have stuff like this go down and people, they just unfortunately continue to fall for this stuff. Now, let me just say this too about the lawyers. I've talked about this before and I'll say it again. You got Morgan & Morgan, which, by the way, let me just say this. Morgan & Morgan, their behinds were up in East Palestine, and they were always, see, here's what you got to understand. Here's the thing you got to understand. These lawyers that swoop down and says, well, we're doing a class action lawsuit. That's what we're doing right now. What they are doing, I want you to understand this. Please hear what I'm saying. They don't care about you. Okay, number one, they don't care about you. Let me say that again. They do not care about you. They don't. What these lawyers do, most of them, is that they get a class action lawsuit together. They get a bunch of people to sign stuff. They will already they're already in meetings with Biolab and says, okay, we're going to go ahead and negotiate an agreement right now on an amount. Let's go ahead and do that. And then what's our payout and what's our cut and all this stuff. They're already doing that. See, you're the one that's slow to the party. That's what they're doing. So Morgan & Morgan, for example, they did that up in, They did that up in East Palestine in Ohio. You should hear the stories that's coming out of that with those people and what happened with them with all of that. And now they're down here. The first thing they're going to first thing smoke. Well, I think Morgan & Morgan was already present in Georgia. They already had a presence down there, but they're front and center with this. But it's Morgan & Morgan, and it's another one too that's down here, and they trying to get people to hurry up and sign. Just hurry up and sign. Just sign. Just go ahead and sign. I'm telling you right now, listen. I don't care how much they roll the red carpet out to you. The mere fact that they were up in East Palestine, what you need to do is you need to find out how you can talk to the people in East Palestine and see how and what happened to them. That's what you need to do. You need to have a conversation with them and see how that played out for them. That's all. I don't care what they tell you here. Have a conversation with the people who were impacted by what took place in East Palestine, and you need to measure it out from that. I'm telling you, don't sign up with these people just yet. Your main focus right now, as I told people, I said, listen, I know this is difficult. This is not easy for me to say because moving and all of that, I understand the commitment and the sacrifice and all that goes into, doing all that stuff. But you need to find a way to remove yourself out of that situation to the best of your ability. Because the more you are exposing yourself to those chemicals and those fumes, you're doing more damage to your body. You are. So this is where you need to have those kind of you need to have some serious conversations with friends and family members and figure out something on what can I do, to kind of temporarily change this situation for me and my family. And I know I'm very aware that everybody can't do that. And that's why we were saying that, well, in the meantime, here's some things that you can be doing in the meantime. Like things like changing, filters and, stuff like that. But I'm telling you right now, this right here, you cannot allow yourself to get comfortable just because you don't see a plume. that stuff is very much still in the environment. It's there. It's there. It's still there. I mean, like, for example, has anybody asked in the Rockdale County area, all the grocery stores you have, like Kroger, Publix, those are the two main ones that I know of. Did Kroger and Publix take all of their shopping carts and wash them down with a solution that would neutralize all of those chemicals that descended on those shopping carts? I bet you never thought of that one, did you? But rest assured, it's on everything. Playgrounds. Did Rockdale County go to all the playgrounds and neutralize and spray all those things down to make sure that those children that they're telling that, hey, listen, it's safe for you to go back to school, but these businesses, they're not ready to go back yet. You need to be asking the county, hey, listen, what have you done to make sure that these playgrounds are 100% safe? And I want to make sure that I get an independent report certifying that it's safe. So independent from a different state, not from y'all, from a whole different state. We don't want y'all to have nothing to do with this. Right now, we're in soccer season. We're in football season. And you know, Georgia is big on football. All those young men and women that are out there rolling in the grass and doing exercise and stuff like that, they are literally rolling and all in that stuff. When them games start, people are sitting, those fans are sitting in those seats. I'm not trying to scare you. I am telling you how this works. This is what's happening. This is how people get sick. These are the type of questions that you need to be raising at a local area. There should be no reason at this point that when you guys have your town hall meetings and stuff like that, it shouldn't be nothing but old people sitting up in there. That thing needs to be so jam-packed down the street that it just, they didn't know what to do except to do the right thing. And then the other thing I would say is I talked about the lawyers, but there was a website that I showed you the other day that someone passed along to me of people that are trying to ground, people on the ground are trying to organize to get people together, the residents together, you know, to shut Biolabs down. I don't know too much about that organization. In fact, I don't know anything about them. But what I will tell you is this: as someone who has looked at stuff like this in the past, I'm telling you that Biolabs and other similar companies, what they will do is that they will have people planted in these organizations. This is how they play 4D chess around people. They infiltrate a lot of these groups. And so they'll get people all riled up, but then one day they'll break out and say, hey, listen, I think we fought enough. I think we made the point. I think we're all good now. They said that they at least met part of our demands. So as long as they met part of our demands, I think we're good. Hey, listen, this is a lifelong fight. We're going to have to keep on fighting. And then you start hearing that, you're like, well, I guess you're right. No, this is your life that we're talking about. And if you are somebody that is immunocompromised, I've touched on that too, you definitely need to take this extremely seriously and don't be going to these people for anything. I don't care if they wrap the check in bacon, you know what I'm saying, and giving you free trips to Disney. Don't take nothing from these folks. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You know, particularly as black folks, we talk about all the time, we need to learn to get together. Well, this is your test right now. You got a city full of black folks. And there should be no reason at all that folks ain't coming together and bringing attention to this particular issue. And then providing what people need. You got rebirth, for example, a new birth. Sorry, you got new birth in Lithonia. As big as that church is, they should be housing people. And you got all them other mega churches in that area. There should be people in those buildings right now and not sitting in their homes. It was one person that was that wrote in, and they're in a nursing home and they saying they dealing with this stuff. So I want you to really understand just the seriousness of this. And I'm trying to point out to you, because I'm wrapping this segment up, I'm trying to point out to you how these companies, they do not care about you. You never go to the criminal for justice. You don't do that. You don't go to them and think they're going to mete out justice. They're not doing that. They know exactly what they're doing. And with all them preachers in that county, just that county alone, rest assured, from Sundays to come, they're going to be preaching about forgiveness. They're going to be preaching about God will use things, all kinds of stuff to bless you. And he said he's going to open up a window of heaven. Meanwhile, the window of heaven is open, but your lungs ain't, because you're on a breathing machine. So I'm telling you right now, it's coming from all over. And especially for black folks, pay attention to what I'm getting ready to say. It's not going to come necessarily from white people. It's going to come from people who look just like you. So you better pay very close attention, and your head better be on a swivel, and you better demand it, because you got people out here who have poured their blood, sweat, and tears into the little land and property that they got down there. And I really feel for, I was sharing with my wife, I was telling about, well, she saw it too. The video where the older couple said, we grow, fruits and vegetables down here. I wouldn't do it. After this, I ain't growing nothing. No. My. Not in that soil. No, sir. I wouldn't do it. Now just imagine the impact. If that was their main source of income, just imagine what that may do to them. Now what? You understand what I'm saying? So anyway, so I'm done with this. Pass this along to as many people that you know in the Rockdale County, DeKalb County. What else? What other county? We got Walton County in that area, Fulton County, in all those areas there. Heck, I've been hearing some people in Cobb been smelling stuff. Pass this along to as many people as possible, because we, particularly as a people, we have to be smart about this stuff. You can't let these people come in and be throwing, and they just throwing little money. You think, hey, this is my reparations, but no, they ain't trying to do you right. They're not. And they know we're getting around Christmas time, and they know that, hey, listen, they gonna want a little bit of money. Let's just give them a little something. And then the commissioner, like I say, he up there talking like he using a little preacher kind of tone. I peeped all that out. So no, that's it. So anyway, so what I'm gonna do now, I got my beautiful wife with me right now. She's in here. One of the solutions that we said, hey, listen, we're not there. We're not down there now. We don't live in the Atlanta area now. But what are some things we can do? And one of the things that we have on this platform, we have a store where we sell herbs and natural, supplements and things like that. Of course, none of this is a replacement of any doctor. So let's just be clear about that. Okay. But there are things in nature that you can take that will help in situations like this. Right. And so one of the areas, of course, that is the most impacted by most people in a situation like this is your lungs. So what we did is we put together a list of, and we posted that over on our Saba Tree YouTube page, a list of all the herbs that you should be focused on, that you should be taking right now to flush your lungs out. Okay. And so we're going to, so we actually put some things together, and we're already getting ready to ship. They're getting shipped out as we speak. All right. And yeah, so that's one of the things we're doing. But my wife, she's really going to get into that portion and really talk about that and why you should be, even regardless if you get it from us or not, I don't care. I just want people to get what you need, because these doctors, that's a whole nother topic. A lot of these doctors, they really don't know how to handle this. I heard one story where it was one doctor said they had to go on the internet. This is down here in the Atlanta area. They said, hey, go on the internet because they didn't know how to handle it. This is the doctor. So they're throwing, there was one case, they told the person, I don't know if you heard this, Nicole. They told the doctor told the person, they said, well, I'm trying to figure out what this is. Well, let me give you steroids. Steroids. So you have to go into this thing with the understand. You got to act as if none of these people are for me. That's how you got to think. All right. You got to think. Question me. You understand? I'm not down there, but I'm just saying the information that we're providing, you check it out and you verify it. But you cannot. I'm telling you right now, all of these people that's involved up there, the number one thing they are trying to preserve is not you, but their jobs. All right. So I just want you to be clear with all of that. All right. So what we're going to do is, let me go ahead now. And Nicole, if you want to take the seat here, and she's going to talk a little bit about, this thing that we're doing here. Okay. All right.
Hot seat. Oh.
It has to be up. It has to be up like this.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. You're good. Let me see. Hey y'all, I'm just getting situated here. Do I need to pull it? Can y'all hear me?
Just like that.
Okay, perfect. Well, let me say this. When I heard about this situation in Rockdale County, as Dwayne said, we used to live in Georgia, so in Atlanta area. So, this is very near and dear to my heart, but I was, sorry. Messing with stuff already. Y'all know how I do. Okay, look, I was through. Okay, when I heard about this, I was through because when you hear about the gravity of what has happened, you know that the effects are going to be long term. And I don't want to scare anyone if you do live in that area, or if you have loved ones that live in that area. If I lived in that area and I was able to, I would be gone. I'd be gone. I would be in a hotel or an Airbnb somewhere out of that area if I had the means to do that. But those of you that do not, we sent out an e-blast if you're on our mailing list about having changing your air filters, which air filters are the ones to get, the ones with charcoal in them, right? We talked about, I don't know if that was in this e-blast, but Dwayne has talked about demanding that your water be tested. There's things that you can do, right? If you're in that area. Okay, so we've talked about that. But when this went down, Dwayne said to me, he said, honey, and that's what he said. He said, hun, he said, can we hook something up? Can we put something together for these people? And I said, I'm on it. Say less. I'm on it. And so we did. And so I am going to talk about that, but I'm going to talk about some other things that you can do as well. So first, we're going to get into this right here, which I knew this was probably going to be a little bit of an issue. You got it? Oh, okay. He's going to be my hand model while I talk. Y'all just give him a second to get in place. He's going to show you this 11 herb respiratory rescue tea. Okay. This is something that we put together for people who are in that area, and also people who are not. Okay, people who just need help with their lung conditions, lung issues, asthma, all these kinds of things. We put this together for you. I want to talk about that, but I also want to tell you what we want to do for people in that area, because we want to give some of these away for free to people who need them. So I'm going to talk about that in a second. So let's get into it. Dwayne, can you, let me just see. I think I'll be able to do it. I'll be able to do it. Maybe you can you zoom it? Can you zoom it in? You want to hold it? There we go. Okay. All right. So Dwayne, can you hold this right here? And can you come around? And can you just kind of just move the spoon around so they can see the herbs? All right. I want you guys to see what's in this blend. Okay. So we used 11 herbs. All right. And you can lift it up so they can really, the spoon up, like, so they can really see those herbs that are in there. Sorry, y'all. I can't do both. Okay. So, what's in this blend? First of all, the headliner, of course, is mullein. Anytime you have anything going on with the lungs, you want mullein to be in the house. That's number one. Okay. And so just for those of you that don't know, mullein is going to help clear. Can you zoom back out? Because now they're like in my mouth. Okay. Yeah. Let's just pull it on back right there. That's good. Okay. All right. So mullein is going to help clear the mucus. It's going to soothe and support the respiratory tract. Boom. Number one, mullein. The other ones are not in any particular order. I just want to read to you the 11 herbs. There is a ratio that we use. Okay. Burdock root. Those of you that know burdock root, powerful detoxifier. It's going to detoxify the blood and help to move those, flush those toxins out of the body. Okay. So we want burdock root in the house. Nettle. What nettle does is it supports the respiratory health. It's going to reduce the inflammation. Okay. In the lungs. All right. And again, supporting the natural detoxification process of the body. Are you noticing a theme, right? Detox. That's the theme. Milk thistle, powerful for liver detoxification, right? So the liver is the organ that's processing these toxins, not just for those in Rockdale County, but the function of the liver is to process these toxins out of the body. Okay. So you want to help the liver do its job. All right. So milk thistle was put in this formula, not for the lungs, but for the liver. Okay. Because it's respiratory rescue and detox. Okay. Ginger's going to help bring down the inflammation in the body. It's going to improve circulation. Anytime that blood is, you're increasing the circulation in an area, it's going to heal faster. And in this case, if you're increasing circulation of the blood, it's going to help flush the toxins out of the body. Again, detoxification. Cherry bark or wild cherry bark. Okay. Cherry bark is soothing properties. Those of you that, if you've ever given your children like wild cherry bark syrup, if they have coughs or, their lungs need to be soothed, that's why we put that in there. Peppermint helps open up the respiratory tract and ease symptoms of congestion and irritation caused by exposure to chemicals and environmental toxins. All right. Last four, astragalus, immune health, overall vitality. So astragalus, if you didn't know, astragalus, if you've ever heard of, not to go too deep, but if you've ever heard of telomeres, okay, telomeres are the end caps on your DNA. Over time, those end caps start wearing down. When your end caps on your DNA wear down, that means the quality of your cells is decreasing, right? Aging is happening, right? Aging of the organs, aging of, the systems in the body. Astragalus helps to increase and maintain the telomeres, okay? and it boosts the immune function. That's why we put it in there. All right. Turmeric, you know, turmeric is like our best friend. We talk about turmeric all of the time. Turmeric contains curcumin, anti-inflammatory, and it has antioxidant effects. Last two, dandelion, detoxification and lung health, and licorice root, all right, soothing those respiratory tissues and anti-inflammatory properties. So that is what is in the tea. Can you show them one more time, honey? All right, so you can see all 11 of those herbs that he's going to show you in just a second. And when you get your tea, I want you to shake it up. I want you to shake it up, okay? Because those herbs, the heavier roots, the burdock root and the ginger root, they're going to fall to the bottom, all right, because of the weight. So you want to shake up your tea when you get it, okay? What does it taste like? The tea tastes like a mint tea, like a peppermint tea. So we really wanted the flavor to be pleasing. All right. So if you like mint tea, you know, you're going to like this. Okay. Cause that's the predominant flavor, that base, the peppermint. Okay. All right. So that's that on the tea. Let me tell you what I want to do, what we want to do. I want to give away some of these teas to the people that are in Rockdale County that need them, okay? And they're, you know, they're busy buying air filters and water filtration and all the stuff that they need at this point. And so this is the last thing that they, you know, really need to be worried about. We're going to send some of these teas for free down to a representative that is in that area. Dwayne's been in contact with the woman that's running the Facebook support group down there. And so we're going to put together as many as we can out of our pocket, because that's what we want to do. Okay. But I've gotten emails from you, some of you that are Samba Tree customers, saying, how can we donate or how can we give? And, you know, I didn't answer those emails just because we just didn't want a whole bunch of money flowing in, because, you know, I don't know what the organizational mechanisms are in place down there for money to flow in and how that money gets disseminated. So we didn't want to deal in that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to put this tea on the website. By the way, those of you that missed it, Dwayne said that he took the tea earlier today, because I had him taste it. He took the tea earlier today. Did you say in 30 minutes? In 30 minutes, there was mucus coming up. In 30 minutes. All right. I thought it was just me because I took some sea moss today. So I was like, oh, it's probably the sea moss. But when he said it, who did not take sea moss today, that after 30 minutes, there was mucus coming up and his lungs were clearing out. Okay. Amazing. I'm going to share with you a few other things that we do not sell. We do not offer. Well, we offer some of them, but these are tips from a natural, let me see if she is a natural healthcare practitioner. Okay. I'm going to share some tips in a second that you can jot down if you or a family member are affected. But let me continue what I'm saying about helping those that are in need. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just going to jump in here a moment. She's going to do this part here. And for those of you, yes, we are going to do the part 2 where we're going to talk about Kamala Harris's father. So you definitely want to stick around for that, okay? At the end of this broadcast, what we'll do is I'll chapter it out to make it easy for you to skip around so you can get to that part. But we're going to cover that, okay? So you want to stick around for that.
Overflow Enterprises said, I'm surprised y'all didn't use pine needle in the tea. Yeah, bro, you right. That pine needle is definitely it. But no, pine needle didn't get into this blend, but that would have been a good one. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this tea on the website. I'm going to put it on after I am finished here, and I'm going to put it on for 50% off, free shipping, not for you. Not for our customers, you know, but for those that are affected or have family members that are affected in this situation, 50% off to cover the cost of the tea. and it will not ship to you. We are going to put those together with the free items that Dwayne and I are contributing, and we're going to put them in a big box and we're going to ship them down there. Okay. So if you would like to contribute or help the families or people that are down there suffering with this situation, just look for this tea, and I'll put I'll note the product. I'll put it on there. I'll either say help the family or donate to something like that. So you'll know, okay, this is the one that I need to purchase if I want to help people down there. Okay. So that's what we're going to do, because we're not trying to profit off of that. We just want those of you that want to help so we can send more than just Dwayne and I can do on our own. Okay. All right. So that's what we're going to do. Look on the site for that shortly. And then just a few tips that this natural health care practitioner who works with Scott Smith. Scott Smith is I don't know if he's a research scientist. I don't know exactly what his title is. Dwayne, can you close that door? I'm probably a little loud. Who is down there on the ground in Rockdale County running tests to see what are all of these chemicals that are being found, ones that they're reporting on and ones that they're not reporting on. She works with him. Okay. And these are the things that she takes whenever she was with him in East Palestine as well. These are the things that she took for her own protection, being exposed to these toxins. All right. So 1, activated charcoal. Activated charcoal. Why did she take activated charcoal? Activated charcoal is a binder, all right? And so it attracts the toxins. It binds itself to the toxins in your body and then flushes them out. It takes them right on out, and you through your number 1 or your number 2, yes, I said it, they get eliminated from the body. All right. So that's what our activated charcoal does. All right. So that's a really, really important one. Dwayne even said, should we put some activated charcoal in the tea? I was like, let's not. But you can take that. You can put some activated charcoal in your water. That's going to help you. That's going to help you detox. All right. Second one, bentonite clay. That's another one. Okay. That you can take that will do the same thing. It will bind to those poisonous toxins to help it be flushed and out of your body. Very important. If you are taking binders, right? Activated charcoal, bentonite clay, you've got to flush the body with a lot of water, or else they'll do more harm. If they're sitting in there, they're not being flushed out, then the toxins are going to continue to bind to them and sit in your system. All right. So if you're going to take activated charcoal or bentonite clay, flush with water throughout the day. All right. Make that your number 1 drink of choice. Okay. And both of those we do offer in Samba Tree. These are the ones that we don't. B12. All right. If you have B12 sitting in your cabinet, take your B12. Why? Because one of the chemicals they found, and I'm almost done, Dwayne, one of the chemicals that they found on the ground was hydrogen cyanide. When I say on the ground, I'm talking about in Rockdale. Hydrogen cyanide was found. When you take B12, per this natural health care practitioner, I didn't have time to do a lot of the research on this, but I'm taking this from an article that she wrote. When you take B12, B12 neutralizes hydrogen cyanide and renders it non-toxic. How about that? Right? B12. If you have it in your pantry, if not, order it on Amazon. B12. You want to get that in your system. And the others, Dwayne, do you think we can list this under the video, or is there a way can you share this on the community tab? He'll post it somewhere so you can get some of the other items that she's mentioned in here. All right. So that hopefully will help you all. We love you. We support you. We're with you. And we hate to see this kind of thing happen to our people. But just know when you hear these elected officials say that we're getting back to normal, we're getting to a place of normalcy, it is an absolute lie. It is an absolute lie. That stuff is lingering in the air. It is in the ground. All right. Whether it's in the water or not, I can't speak on that, but that area is an unsafe area. So getting back to a place of normalcy, to be saying that now on day 19 is absurd. It is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And, my plea would just be, if you can move out of the, make your way out of that area, it would be all the better for you in the long run, because these are carcinogens. They just are. And they affect the body in a really horrible way. All right. So we love you. We are thinking about you. We are supporting you, praying for you. And let us know if there's anything else we can do. Well, we will be putting that care package together to send down there to those of you that need it. And we love you much. Love you. I'm out.
All right, we're back. Thank you so much. You guys really appreciate it. And what we're going to do is let's take a 1 minute break, and then we're going to get right into our second story that we're talking about this evening. And that is something that I came across. I found regarding Kamala, Vice President Kamala Harris's father. You're not going to want to miss this. So we're going to get into that in just a moment, okay? So we're just going to give you an ear break, and then we're going to jump right into this second story, okay? All right. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump into the second portion of this broadcast. Like I said, what I'll do is once the broadcast is fully uploaded, I'll go and chapter it out for you so that if you want to come back and just kind of get to the part that you want to hear, we'll have it queued. You'll be able to just jump to that part. OK. All right, let's go ahead and get to this second part here. What we're talking about again now, the topic is Kamala Harris's father, whose name is Donald Harris Jr. Now, I don't know if you guys have been catching Candace Owens and her investigation, just with Kamala Harris. It's just everything is falling apart. I mean, literally. I mean, like the picture that she had up there, that was in her book, that was her supposed to be standing next to her grandmother. Well, it's just been exposed and confirmed that wasn't even her grandmother. That was somebody else. And somebody who knew this lady, the real lady that's her grandmother, she said, oh, yeah, I know her. I knew her grandmother very well. And that wasn't her. Her grandmother was white. She looked Irish. So Candace Owens, she's been on it, man. So if you haven't been following that, definitely check that out, because that's been really something here. But this is something else that I came across that I found a bit interesting. Let me go ahead and pull this up here. Now, again, this is her father, Donald Harris. Okay, this is him right here. As you know, many of you know, he was a professor, and he's Jamaican, right? Or Jamaican. So, and he has somewhat of mixed heritage, and he's even said, he acknowledges that. I don't think he's really ever claimed to be a black man, so to speak, but he did address black American issues. And so, because he was a teacher here in the United States, but he will definitely tell you that his family was, in fact, they were actually slave owners. And he hasn't held back on that. I mean, he's been very clear about this. And so anyway, so someone did this article. They just posted this recently. And I want you to listen into it. The links I've already checked out and read and confirmed. Kamala's father knew mass immigration hurts black families. Uh-oh. And so let's go ahead and get it. All right, let's listen. Donald Harris warned that importing tens of millions of low-skilled migrants into the workforce would take jobs from black families. That's exactly what Kamala did as vice president. Let me jump right into the main part of this. Donald Harris co-authored a 1988 pamphlet entitled Black Economic Progress, an Agenda for the 1990s. And if you click on it, it will take you right to the book. All right. So, you know, they're not just making stuff up. So you can get and go right to the page and everything here, but we're just going to stick to the article since it's, you know, it's all there. But I'm just showing you right there. It's right on Google Books, which critiqued many of the Reagan administration's policies, including massive defense spending to oppose the Soviet Union. But when it came to immigration, Donald Harris worried that the current immigration policy, which allows relatively large numbers of low-skilled workers to enter the United States, places a burden on low-skilled native-born workers, particularly black families. All right, that's something. That's totally against what you would hear, you hear coming from her. Totally against that. And this is the excerpt from the book. This is what was actually written. At the same time that the trends in international trade has moved against the U.S. workers, U.S. immigration laws have been modified in ways that increase the influx of low-skilled workers who compete with native-born youths and low-skilled adult workers for low-skilled jobs. This shift has been a particularly serious problem for blacks, who constitute a higher proportion of the low-skilled adult workers. Theoretical research supports the argument that the immigration of low-skilled workers is harmful to blacks. In the short term, Harris wrote, unless offsetting policies are established to protect the living standard of native-born workers. Wow, isn't that something? Let me read that part again. He said, research supports the argument that immigration of low-skilled workers is harmful to blacks in the short term, Harris wrote, unless offsetting policies are established to protect the living standards of native-born workers. That line itself could be used as a respiration. Wow. We did that last story. I'm still on respiratory. Reparations. That line could be used as a line for support for some type of reparations policy, couldn't it? So here you got Kamala Harris's own father, who was part of a team that put together this agenda. The name of the book here, again, is called Black Economic Progress, an Agenda for the 1990s, where they were blasting the Reagan administration because at that time, the Reagan administration, they just flung the doors wide open. I told you, see, you know, I know I got some Trump people in the House, but we have to be, just as we've been very clear, and, you know, we got to be, you know, we've been using a critical eye when it comes to Kamala. We got to do the same thing with Trump. And if he wins, you can't let up, even with that. And I've said from the beginning, listen, Trump ain't stopping illegal immigration. I know what he's saying, but he's not stopping that. He's not. It's not going to stop as long as the businesses, corporations need immigrants or low skilled workers or workers, not low skilled, but workers that don't require much. Okay. They don't require a lot of money. They are going to continue to allow these people to come in. And then the thing they're going to throw at you is he's going to say, well, the reason why I can't get it done is because all the Democrats. It's the same song and dance. So the border will remain open as long as they need to keep it open until they get the AI robots in play. And then once that happens, then we all pretty much it's a wrap at that point. You better start looking into being a robot repairman. All right. You may want to look into you may want to hit up George Jetson for a second and find out if his company is hiring. Okay. I'm just trying to tell you. I'm just trying to prepare you for that, for real. So it's interesting here. Her father understood the impact of having an open borders policy, the direct impact that this would have on black folks. And you know what? He's absolutely right. And it's been proven as such. And it's interesting that you try to bring this up to people, to the very people that are supporting her. They say, oh, no. See, you're being racist. You just don't like these people and all that stuff. No, it's not that at all. It's just that we understand. But here's the thing, too. If you go to Mexico, did you know that there are countries like Mexico and going further south? They have very strict, their policies for immigration in some of these countries is a lot stricter than the United States. Do you want to know why a lot of these people are moving up and coming to the United States and they ain't setting up camp in these other countries down there? Because these other countries saying, no, you ain't got time. No, you got to keep it right on moving because we're going to protect our borders, especially Mexico. You may want to look up Mexico in their southern border and how strict they are with their southern border. You got Chinese people coming through there. You got, Haitians. You got people from Africa and all that coming through those borders and all that. And they say, okay, you can come in, but you're going to keep right on moving. You ain't staying here. Oh, no, they're very strict down there. If you take the time and really look in, I know the language is different, but trust me, you can find enough information out there. They translate it for you, and they will tell you very clearly that when it comes to immigration, they're very strict on that. But the United States somehow, they just got to let everybody in. And as far as even talking about the impact this is having, particularly on black Americans, well, we can't talk about that. You just got to you just got to let them all come in and you just got to deal with it. No, we don't. And here her father, her own father, he knew that and wrote about it. So now we understand why this man has basically, one of the many reasons why this man has been missing in action. He's been MIA. They done told him he need to sit all the way down, because if these Negroes find out what he was really about, it would completely cancel out everything we're trying to do here. But I'm just letting you know how this thing is going to play out. I mean, when it comes to immigration, illegal immigration, they're going to keep on coming. I mean, they just are. You know what I mean? But those that are coming into this country illegally, at some point, they're going to be in a world of hurt, because as they are loading up the clip with all this AI technology, pretty soon they're not going to need them anymore. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what we're dealing with right now. But I came across that. I found that to be very interesting, to say the least, that you have that going on. But, all this other stuff that's going on as far as the elections are concerned or whatever, for some people, they say, hey, listen, I'm not voting at all. That's your that's if you choose that, that's you. Some people are saying, hey, listen, I'm going to choose to weaponize my vote and vote for the other guy or whatever. That's your choice. But just know at the end, if you didn't see the last video we did, regarding what the bigger stakes are and what's really going on beyond the elections, I would strongly advise you to look at that video, because yes, this is a sideshow, and this country, along with all the other countries, they are all lined up on the same team. They are. at the end of the day. You can pick the ones you like, you want to go with this person, you want to go, okay, fine, cool. But at the end of the day, the system is still the system. It's still the system at the end of the day. And that's it. I'm not trying to get you, I'm not trying to take hope from you. I'm just telling you what it is. You understand? So anyway, that's all I have for you. I don't think I have anything else. I'm looking at my time. I really appreciate you guys hanging in there and sticking with us on this. Like I said, again, this broadcast, what we are going to do is once it's completed and it's been fully uploaded, I will chapter it for you so that it can be easy for you. Now, we did, for those that just came in later, I just want you to understand that we spent a great deal of time talking about in this broadcast what was going on down in Rockdale County, because, again, you got real lives at stake. So we're going to invest our time in what really matters, and that's people's lives. So that's what we did. And then we have this second part. We just talked about Kamala Harris's father, which is really something, and also encouraging you to check out what the work that Candace Owens is doing, because she's rolling out something else. I just caught a clip of a video she did recently where she said Barack Obama, his nanny was a transvestite. And this is like an open, when she went speculating, they covered it. It's in the news. The man was a tranny. He was a man that was dressed like a woman. And he's sitting there talking about, little Barry, I would make sure that when I put the makeup on, I try not to put makeup on while he was around and all this other stuff, but he caught me sometime and all of that. Yeah. It's all. These people are, it's something else. It's something else. I think that's it, because there's a lot of things we can talk about, but we'll put those in other videos. But that's it. That's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys have a great rest of your evening and a great weekend. We may put a video up this either tomorrow or Sunday, but we'll see. But I want to make sure as many people as possible see these videos here, particularly this one, because we need to get the word out about what's going on down in Georgia and just how serious it is. So anyway, that's it. That's all I have for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys take care and enjoy the rest of your day. You guys take care.